We talk football and current events, sitting and chatting with the very best guests, with two Scottish boys and we're loving it. So if you like witty banter, check the former #1 podcast on iTunes, Sitting and Chatting.
Hello and welcome back to the Sitting and Chatting podcast. I'm Whyte.
I'm Thayjamieallan.
Hello, I'm Euan.
So formal. I'll be honest, we didn't go over it with you again because you've been on before, but I thought you'd have it locked down already beforehand. Did you panic under the pressure there?
I did a wee bit. I wasn't quite expecting it.
Shocking. Well,
Hello, I'm Euan.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. I do appreciate it. For those that aren't aware or haven't been around for that long, we interviewed you in about 2 years ago at the old setup, the old setup.
Been a few.
I know there has been a few, but you gave us a real good interview last time, so wanted to have you back. We done a recent tier list evaluating all of our previous guests. So I think we're going back to we want to get certain people back now. We've realised, just like we forgot so and so's on. Oh yeah.
I'm surprised I did as well as you say I did.
Ah, you done well. You gave a good podcast. I mean, we were chatting for 2 hours, so if it was a bad one, you would have heard about it.
Aye, it was the tier list was when I went back and looked at it and I spoke over it with people.
What are you thinking?
I feel as though there was a mistake in some areas, but nothing of great significance that would make me
go on.
shape my pants.
Go on. Bait out now. Which one do you think was a mistake made?
Absolutely not. No.
You're telling me
absolutely not. No.
No, yeah.
Okay.
No, yeah.
But the tier list was fun. To be honest, tier lists are very underrated, regardless of what you do it on. I do enjoy a tier list. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, especially it turns out you making waffle for about an hour and 30 minutes.
Well, listen, I can waffle regardless to whoever, whenever, and whatever time you require. I'll be there. I'm a waffler.
And that's why the guests stay on and keep coming back.
Exactly. Well, you asked us to come on this week. Did you know that? Well, no, you didn't, but no, you did. It's just that I miss Jamie's waffling so much that I actually want to come on.
Oh, yeah. When I seen him today, that's all he was chatting about. It's like, God, I can't wait to see Jamie again. It's been too long.
Missed that sweet sound of his voice.
There you go. See, it's just a persona that it's amazing. It's an aura that I pursue.
I know. I think Euan as well really complimented your modesty. I think that was one of your best features.
The head ego is non-existent.
Yeah.
Right, just that top fella to have beside you,
You said it, not me.
He's going to get that fucking quoted today. He's going to clip this one wee bit of the podcast, and anytime he goes to an interview in the future, he's just going to play it there.
Anyway, enough about me alien fucks that you're too kind.
I know.
Euan, welcome back. Glad to have you here. It's been
cheers.
Good to be back. It's been a while.
A lot's changed in I did actually go back and check that before we started. It's nearly 3 years. It'll be 3 years and a month since you were last on. And, a lot's obviously changed in that time. We were talking about last time how you're mainly still in university. What was the last 2 years like then to get finished? I wanted to hear how it went.
It was certainly an experience.
Do you mind telling folk what you've done briefly, just in case they didn't hear the first episode?
Sure. So I did a computing course. I did a degree in computer science. It was pretty good, I would say.
You sound like you've got a gun to your head to say that.
Well, I mean, it's difficult because with every class you have a different lecturer, and some lecturers know what they're on about and are happy to be teaching you, and some lecturers either don't know what they're on about or just don't want anything to do with students at all. They're clearly there to do research, and that's it, and they've been roped into doing lectures and stuff like that, and it shows. You've got people who are really, really happy to actually teach their subject and make people excited about what they're learning and stuff like that, and you got others who are just reading from a bit of paper, and you're just I don't really want to be here,
Does that make a difference though to you though, if you've like, got an actual interest in the subject that you're learning? Like, do you feel like, providing if you're still interested in the subject, doesn't necessarily matter what the teacher does?
I find that I learn. Well, I'm sure most people find it this way. If the teacher that's teaching you is actually interested in the subject they're teaching and they're happy to teach you, you learn much better because they're actually willing to go the extra distance and like explain it all to you and go behind the scenes. But if you got someone that's just going to read it off a bit of paper, you don't really learn anything, I find. Like, unless you already know about the subject, you don't really learn anything, and you have to go away and have to learn yourself, and that's the bollock of it, I suppose. Like, it's just not like as fun as it is to go away and learn stuff, and obviously that's what uni is about. It's like a bit of like independence and like working for yourself. It doesn't help if your lecturer is not interested in it all, and it really, really shows. Like my grades, I think probably fairly well captivate like what was interesting to learn and what was crap to learn, and whether that was just the lecturer or the actual lesson itself. And because to be honest, the vast majority of the stuff that I learned, I was really interested in, because I'm interested in most stuff computer wise. So I'm quite happy to go through all of it. But like if a lecturer is not interested in teaching you, then I fail to see the point in me showing interest if they're not even going to show the interest.
See, no, it does make sense because obviously, the smidge of learning I did at school, and I taught, minimum. I found that, in classes in which teachers took a bother in you, because by the end of it, I mean, lame will tell you, maybe even signed you or third year, no teacher wanted me. Whether it was...
No, that's what you did always have Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark, I think.
That's what I was going to say though. So in his class going into it, knowing fine well he took an interest and actually gave a fuck about me turning up to his class, regardless of whether I was going to be a pain in the ass or not, he still showed an interest. So I found his classes always to be better, although we played cards for majority of it.
It'll make him lose his job now.
Mathematically wise, it's the cards have got numbers.
6 plus 10 equals what, James?
10, there you go, you see what I'm saying? Like, if you put an ace of spades down, it's a 1 or an 11. But that's numbers, you get me? So anyway, I digress.
Pythagoras move over.
Aye, I digress. But, whereas going into English with whatever her name was, purple hair, whatever her fucking need was.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mrs. McCabe, that's her name. It was just shite. It was dead boring. It was, you didn't want to be there. And English was a drag. You know what I mean? Home ec was a good laugh because the teacher just kind of was like, I know I've got the cunt, but if I let the cunt do what he wants to do, he's not going to get in my way. So she still got to teach her class and I still got to take the piss. It was fun. I mean, but no, but that does make sense though, because obviously if you've got a teacher that's totally, or a lecturer in your case, totally disinterested in being there, then you don't want to be there. It does make sense. But real on Mr. Clark, what a man.
I'd actually love to get him on the podcast. Just see.
Oh, so would I. You know what? He's actually what a fucking man, honestly.
Well, maybe try to see if we can find him after this and see if he wants to be on it.
Honestly, wonderful human being.
But yeah, no, so going back to like, what was your experiences? Like, how would you compare your first 2 years of uni to like your last 2 years then? What was like the big differences, would you say?
Well, I mean, the way my course worked, I'm pretty sure my course was the same way as yours, where my first 2 years were through college and then my last 2 years were at uni. So with college, it was kind of like a job. It was like 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Like it honestly was. And like every day was filled. So we were always doing something and it was quite varied. But it was more...
That sound like my course.
All right, okay, well, this is what mine was like then. Yeah, like with college, it was more like I was back in high school. Okay. But you had a bit more freedom. But it was very much like you're in high school. So like the normal classroom environment type of deal. Whereas university was like, it was very relaxed. You could do what you want. You could show up if you wanted. You didn't have to show up if you didn't want to. Like, I'm pretty sure there was folk in my year who never turned up to a single lecture. In fact,
did they pass?
Yeah, somehow. Fuck knows how. Like, but But uni was, I think I prefer uni once I got used to it. I didn't to begin with because I think it was something very, very different that I'd never really experienced before. But after a while, I kind of got used to it. I quite liked, like, there was a bit of a divide really, because you had your lectures where you're all just sitting in a lecture hall looking at a screen, and I may have fallen asleep a couple of times during that. But the actual classes where you're sitting in a lab and you're actually doing work, it was pretty relaxed. It wasn't like it was like strictly monitored or anything. You could leave when you wanted to. You could come in when you wanted to. It was pretty chill. I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed both. Although I think I learned more in college than I did in uni, I would say.
I think once you do that sort of once you do your first 2 years, it's sort of pulling you at that point. You've sort of been taught most of what you need to learn, and then from that point, it's just advancing yourself, kind of thing. But I do find it kind of weird the way you describe college, because for me, it felt like the opposite way in a sense. Whereas I'd say uni felt a lot more like high school to me, and college felt like I was treated like an adult. I was given a lot of free rein to show up whenever you wanted. Teachers wouldn't. They care if you. I think that's the thing that mattered the most, was the teachers that care. Going back to your sort of point, because at uni they certainly don't care, and I don't blame them. They've got too many people to care. In a sense, it's not like a high school where you have like a couple of classes. You know, in unis you'll have like maybe 20 or 30 classes teaching however many hundreds of kids. But I think for college, it was definitely the opposite way around for me. It felt a lot more relaxed, even though I did learn more in a weird sense.
Well, in my second, or my, I think it was my second year of college, I didn't show up to a class for 2 weeks because I had fever. Like, I didn't show up to any classes. Like, I could barely get out of bed. But when I did finally show up, I got a bollocking off the lecturer. Oh, she had a right fucking go at me.
That would not.
Like, I was quite shocked. I was thinking, like, I'm coming into college. I was thinking like this must be pretty relaxed and stuff like that. No, she went for the fucking throat on that one. She was fucking angry at me. She was raging.
No,
and then with uni, you can not show up. Like, you had to show up to labs, because they took like an attendance sheet. If you didn't show up like a certain amount, you'd fail the course. But like, if it was up to you whether you show up to lectures or not, that wasn't monitored at all. So
yeah, and I certainly made the most of mine by taking extra shifts at work, so I never went to any of my lectures either.
That does seem like the best way to pass. Yeah.
But listen, I got my degree. That's all that matters at the end of the day.
That's true.
But sorry.
What's your degree in again?
Like, what's the official title?
Aye.
Me, applied
No,
computer.
No, not yours, but Liam's. What's yours again?
Oh, sorry. Digital media. Digital media.
That's too funny.
What does digital media entail?
Come on, hit us out.
Yeah, I know. I get asked this a lot by 40-year-olds that have never touched a camera before. The way it's meant to be is that it's taken a very basic look at all things media. So cameras, radio, WordPress, journalism, what else? Photography, music, movies, film, TV, all that sort of thing. But the way I condense it down is that I say I worked with cameras and radio.
Nice.
That's simple enough that people understand it without needing to get too complicated.
You do all the social media stuff as well, right?
For what, like when I was in college?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was part of Forth Valley. I'm just paying out where I went. Forth Valley College do like a thing every year where their second years of the media course have to run the Connect Forth, which is what they call their media department. So that deals with anything basically in the Forth Valley area. So like any sort of news. The way it was always sold to us was you're reporting on things that are, so long it fits into these two categories, so long it has relevance to Forth Valley and so long it's relevant to students, you can talk about it, sort of thing. So yeah, done that for a wee bit, which is always good for the CV.
Good digital media.
I
remember when you wanted to be a journalist.
I did. For a long period of high school, I really wanted to be a journalist, and it turns out being dyslexic is quite difficult to do that. To be fair, it's not even
I remember I
dislike.
watched Green Street as well.
What?
Do you remember watching Green Street?
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
first one when they hate journalists. I was like, I've got Liam would be hated here.
I actually watched that the other night. I forgot about that. I genuinely watched that like 2 nights ago. But do you know what it was, right? I always thought I wanted to do journalism, but it turns out I just always wanted to do media. And to be fair, it was a fucking sensible choice because journalism's dying on its arse in many ways. So it's a good pick.
The way it should. For the journalists.
Especially if you work with the Sun.
No, the sun can be allowed.
No, you know what you're saying. Fuck you. But anyway, we're getting slightly off topic now. But so like when it came to like graduation sort of time, when it finally came to that point, did you have the usual struggle like all most students do, or was yours quite an easy course to get through? Not like easy, but easy for you.
No, it was not easy. I was overworked. I was putting in fucking like 20-hour shifts into just getting everything done. Because I've noticed that some of the courses about where I went, the whole of fourth year was just for their honors part, so it was just like a project or something like that. From who I've talked to, that's what they got. For us, we didn't get that. We still had the other modules in between. So
as well as your final big project you had to do.
Yeah, for our dissertation, we were doing it at the same time as we were doing exams.
Yeah. Fucking mental that.
And then all of that was done through COVID as well, because we were all in lockdown by that point. So we did our exams and we did our dissertation presentations and everything through COVID. So we did it all on Zoom or Microsoft Teams or one of them.
What was that like? Because of it, like, were your exams like open booked, or were they all like, you know?
They had to be, because we were doing them online. They couldn't verify that we weren't using stuff, so they were just saying
that's what I was going to say.
You can use what you've learned and like notes you've taken and like the slides and stuff you've been given from classes. You can use those, but nothing else. I mean, we did study. Like it wasn't stuff that you could just like Google the questions, because they were okay. A lot of them were like they were scenario based. So like in this certain scenario, what would be best, and you had to take all the factors into account. So it wasn't like you couldn't know your shit, but like.
But was that basics, or was that like? Would you say that was like difficult stuff? Do you know what I mean?
This was relatively in depth, I'd say, because you're talking about like which type of database would you use in a certain scenario, or
God, I'm getting flashbacks now when I did computing in high school.
So you would say, you would need to be semi-clued up on it to be able to answer the scenario side of things.
Yeah, you definitely need to know what you're talking about, but there is some stuff that they're like buzzwords, I guess. I hate exams with buzzwords, but they exist. So there's like certain words that you need to use and like certain phrases that you need to say. And like for certain things, there's like a 4-step process, for example, that you need to make a certain thing. So you need to talk about the 4-step process. So you need to know what all of them are. But like I find the hardest part in exams is actually remembering. Like I know there's a 4-step process and I could tell you the 4 steps, but you need to, like, in those 4 steps, you need to like say certain details. And that's the sort of shit that you sometimes forget, because you're trying to learn so much at once, and like it's just something that slips your mind. So it's like open book, don't even need to worry about it.
That's good. So you passed, I presume. You got how was your grades?
I passed all of my exams with glowing results.
Were you're saying there about having to do like your last year there, basically COVID style, like learning from home sort of thing. What was that like? Did it make it a lot more challenging not being able to go into classes, or were you fine by that point? Were you not really bothered either way?
Well, it was, I think we did roughly the last 6 months or something was entirely COVID.
Okay.
I think we were pretty much finished up on all of our lectures and everything by that point. So it wasn't too much of a hassle that way, but there was still a lot of work to do. And there was some stuff that had to be done via, like it was in the school system that like certain programs could only be run at the university.
So what would they only have like a certain amount of folk in the class and at the same time when you're there?
No, they figured out this really jank way of linking us up from home, but it was really bad. It would like dropped constantly, like so many problems. Trying to get stuff to work that way was a nightmare. So I fucking hated it. It was crap.
But you passed, you got your degree, and then from there you must have sailed out of university and straight into work.
Yeah, right into the lockdown freeze of Shitesville. It was honestly, it was probably the worst time for us to possibly graduate, because we've like it's already been 6 months, so we're already like pretty deep into lockdown. And by that point, everyone's like, "Oh fuck, the world's turning upside down. Let's freeze everything. Let's freeze hiring. We're gonna let some people go because we don't know if we can make it through this, like businesses and stuff like that." And you're just like, "Well, I've just graduated, and now there's no jobs anywhere because everyone's too scared to start hiring because they don't know if their business is like how badly it's going to be affected." And you're sitting there and you're like, "Well, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? Like, I need to go, what? I'll probably need to go work in Tesco's or work on a fucking call line or something for the next year until like COVID's settled down. I can actually get a fucking job."
Did you find it was similar as well with other people in your course? Like a lot of people in your course still also unemployed currently?
I don't really know. I know my friend, he got a job interview, I think prior to graduating, and then they said they wanted to hire him, and he was like, "Right, well that's fantastic." And then obviously, like because COVID was going on, this company was unsure about whether they could actually hire him. So he was kept on hold for 6 months. So he'd been told, "We want to hire you," but
Yeah.
he didn't actually get hired for another 6 months.
Nice.
Yeah.
Similar situation with me at the moment. But so like obviously, you know, you've been chatting to me about it, and recently obviously things look like they're picking up, you know, the world's opening up a bit more, you know, you've been having more interviews. Like, how difficult is it though, like mentally, was it mentally getting through that kind of process, if you get me?
Well, it's frustrating because I don't know if it's just the job market now or if it's always been like this, but I mean, I apply to jobs almost every day. I think on average I apply to maybe like 10, 15 jobs a week, something like that, and I hear back from maybe one of them if I'm lucky. And then like of all the jobs I don't hear back from, it's clear like I've probably been rejected or whatever, but obviously they don't say anything. And I find it's quite frustrating because like when I was applying for stuff on LinkedIn, like jobs like Sky and stuff would show up, so I'd apply for that. But you could see how many people had applied for that particular position.
Oh, does it say on it?
On LinkedIn it does. If it's actually through LinkedIn, it said something like 300 or 400 people had applied for that position, and I think they were maybe taking about 5 people. So the way I think it works is that when like jobs have these applications, they maybe look at the top 50 or something. Like they take the first like 50 or 100 and they go through them, and the rest just get chucked in the bin.
Yeah.
Is what I'm assuming is what happens. And
I think it is. I think they just randomly pick out a certain amount if there's so many, and then just chuck the other ones.
yeah, and that, I mean, like because there's like a whole bunch of graduates from like every university. It's just like, and obviously there's probably going to be quite a lot of computer science degrees out there. Like everyone's looking for a job, and loads of people have been made redundant, so everyone's looking for a job there as well. So like you're competing with people with experience, competing with other graduates, and you're competing against probably like thousands of people. So you don't know if you're going to get anywhere near a job or not. I don't know.
Certainly can't be easy. I know. See, I'm stuck in this kind of this boat where it's, you know, or a seesaw, if you will, where, you know, there's one side of the spectrum, like your good selves who are struggling to find work, and then you know, there's somebody like me who's, so in the past like 3 weeks I've been offered twice off Sky to go to Sky in the call centre, working from home basically, so it's totally remote, basically similar to what I'm doing now, but like more money. And then I've been offered for EE as well, like when I go back to store, like how to progress and stuff. And I'm like, this is all great, and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm just kind of swaying between the options that I have and stuff. And then I'm like, it's just so frustrating, obviously, because there you're saying, you know, you've been offered, you applied for Sky, and then I'm sat there and they're offering, you know, me internally, you know, rather than getting someone else new to the business, somebody else that could bring something different. And that's where, especially for the work I'm in, experience is like the best. If you've got experience, it's amazing. That's what they go for. So like in the line of business with Sky, they'll take maybe 100 CVs, look at them, and the first one that says telecoms or anything experience goes into the top 50. And if it doesn't have experience, very rarely you're getting taken. And obviously you need experience to have then had experience, which is obviously the old cliche. But you know, one of the boys that I used to work with in the store, he's moved to Sky recently, and he's like, I spoke to my manager who was happy to have you come across. I'm like, I didn't want to, like, I didn't want to come across. That was never a thing. It was like, oh no, I just assumed he would, you know. It was like, he really wants you to come across. I'm like, I'll have an interview with him, and if he can offer me better than what I'm getting now, then I'll certainly think about it. And I think to myself, just get somebody, you know, that's not experience that you can train up and have sell and, or, you know, advise in the manner that you want. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I would come across to that business with having had 5 years of experience, but having learnt my own way of dealing with stuff. Yeah. And maybe it's not the way you want. Do you know what I mean? So I've never understood it. So, you know, the best stop and starts are like your Tesco's, Sainsbury's and McDonald's and stuff. That's your best stop and starts, because obviously, like you said, it goes to a top 50 with Sky, or, you know, even BT or whoever it is you're applying for. Like the one I got the other day was just silly. I applied for an Amazon remote working from home, and all you're dealing with is like customer side of things. So basically, people would place orders, and then if the orders failed, you would literally in the background just complete the order. And it was like triple what I'm getting paid now to work from home remotely. Really? Aye. And then when I got the phone interview, I spoke to the person. She was, we've got like 250,000 applicants. I'm like, what fucking chance have I got? 250,000? I was like, what fucking chance have I got? And I'm like, all right, that's, you know, that's a significant number. And, you know, things were looking promising towards the end. We had like a really long interview and stuff. And I'll happily go ahead with it if, you know, everything is right and stuff at the time. But I think to myself, like, they're taking 250,000 applicants, interviewing however many. I know Amazon's massive and stuff, so they'll have a lot of people recruiting for them. But for something like that, it's so frustrating for the likes of you, do you know what I mean? Where it's like, take on a non-experienced member of staff and they can turn it to be brilliant, do you know what I mean? That's the risk though, isn't it? You take someone that has a good experience, they might fucking fly to the stars, you know, and be the person they've ever hired. Or they could take the easier option, hire someone that's done it for 5 years like yourself. They know that it's going to be great right away. I know it's a pain in the arse, because, you know, I started 5 years ago as, you know, the wee kind of guy that just doesn't speak to many people. And that was it. And then, you know, I'm still like that. I still keep myself to myself when I can, but, you know, for a customer service point of view, I understood it. I went away, learned everything I needed to know, and came back and knew I've got my own thing. But, you know, if I was to go to Sky, I'd be totally lost in what to do for like the first 2, 3, maybe even 4 months. So I would know what I'm doing straight away based on the service side of it. Yeah. But you say you want somebody up to speed straight away. It's never going to happen because it's new systems and, different customers, different policies. There's so much stuff to learn. It's unbelievable. So, I'd find it much easier if people would just take a punt on, people with new experience.
Yes, big up the new experience.
Exactly.
No, I mean, I'm saying that. I mean, I've obviously got plenty of work, and also you yourself, Euan, have had plenty of jobs in the past, which will be, at least you've got something compared to some people out there that manage to go the entire time through university with doing literally nothing. But obviously now it has been nearly a year. Well, it will be a year soon since you left, won't it? Am I right in thinking?
Yeah, well, see, that's the problem. That's the worry, because at the end, September is when everyone graduates, so we're going to have a whole new load of graduates that I'm going to have to contend with. So
yeah,
the hope is I can get some work before then, and put myself on that experience train, and hopefully move up the ladder a bit after a while.
Slap your coat on the table.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what you do in any interview. Jamie will tell you.
100%. I've done that when I went for my interview. Coat on the table. Here's what I can bring.
Well, there's 18 grand. Get started.
Fucking coat on the table. Right. Here's what I can bring to you. What can you do for me?
What's good to hear is, like you were saying, I've been getting way more interviews recently. I think everything's starting to open up quite a lot again. Because I've been hearing back from probably like twice as many places I'd normally hear back from. So I think obviously like we're heading slowly towards summer, and like COVID's gonna die down a little bit, I guess. Like shit's gonna open up again.
We pray.
Fingers crossed, touch wood, do every superstitious thing out there.
Nah, yeah. Definitely is, because like prior to, like Liam will tell you that during the first lockdown, well, first or second, whatever the fuck we're on. I hated working from home. It was pish. Didn't like it at all. It was too strict. I was getting timed for the amount of times I was getting up to take a piss, and it was dire. So I was on the calls, and then basically I put the call in like not ready, so I couldn't receive a call. Went and took a piss, came back, and I already had a text message saying, "Why are you offline?" I'm like, "I'm taking a piss." So I was getting tracked, and time was getting docked and shit. It was hated it. During that period, I applied for so many places. It was unbelievable. And heard back from maybe 3 out of 100. Like genuinely, it was bad. And then all of a sudden, like I've been requested to move places. My LinkedIn profile is getting looked at rapid. I'm getting job offers rather than me applying for places, such as like the Amazon one came to me.
Oh, right.
But it was just based on, when I go to my LinkedIn and upload my customer surveys, the customer satisfaction stuff. So I'm constantly kind of near 100%, and Amazon prides themselves on service.
And then make sure to mark you down next to service.
But Amazon pride themselves on service. I don't know if you've ever used Amazon's customer service, by the way, but it is actually unbelievable.
I only ever had to use it twice. One time it was great, the other time it was shit. So
right, well, I've got the chair that I've got. Well, did have like the arm slope working on it, and the whole seat slopes like forward at the back. So I was like, this is just shit. I can't sit in it. So I've got a fucking mad kitchen chair I'm sitting on, and which by the way is actually uncomfy as well. But nonetheless, so I bought that in 2020 March time. Messaged Amazon, so it was still within its warranty by like 3 days or something, and they gave me a full refund. Says there you go, buy a new one. I was like, the fuck, like, do you want the old one back? Nah. All right. So.
Not bad. Get 100 quid back in your pocket.
Yeah, 170.
I think the only time I've used Amazon like customer service was, do you know when you get like Prime, but it auto renews and it actually starts it after the trial? Yeah. I forgot to cancel that before the trial ended. I ended up paying like 98 quid or something, and I phoned them up and I was like, "Here, I've not actually used the service. Can you like refund me?" And they're like, "Yeah, no bother."
The only reason I still had Prime was when Top Gear moved to, when the Shield moved when they moved to the Grand Tour, my mum got it for me as like a Christmas present of like, oh, there you go, you can have that for a year to watch the show. I was like, all right, thanks. And every year since then she's forgot to cancel it when it's come up to the renewal stage. So I've just kept having Amazon Prime for each year since.
Scanning them all,
So-
90 quid every year.
Well, listen, she uses it now herself. She just didn't take up the opportunity a few years back. Now she's fully in depth.
No, I think I seen the mad thing on my Amazon. I've ordered like over 700 products on Amazon.
Oh no, I don't want to check because I've ordered fucking so much.
Aye, like it just says 700 plus, but like it also says 1,000 plus there as well. So like I don't know if I've actually reached my 1,000 yet. Or I use it all the time.
Nah.
I need to order something actually. Speaking of which, going to be a set a wee reminder. Oh dear.
I don't think I've ordered like over 100 yet. I think I'm still below 100.
How can you possibly not use it? Like it's.
I was at a point when I was in probably first year of college where I was ordering stuff like bi-daily at a certain point, like just I need a cable for something. I could go to the shops or I could order it and it'll be here tomorrow morning. I'll do that. But
Yeah.
nah, it's useful. But
It's becoming too convenient.
yeah, no, I suppose it's one of those things of like, if it's something that I desperately need, I will still go to the shops. But otherwise, like I've never ordered food online before. I still go out and do that myself. But like technology or like if I need something new and expensive, I will typically go to Amazon. Like Christmas now, even I still spend most of my money on Amazon to get folk stuff.
What's
I think
weird
it
is,
depends though.
In
yeah,
what way?
Like people, like for example, I've used Amazon Pantry, but see this because obviously now people suffer for such crazy conditions, like mental health, and then like anxiety and stuff. So they struggle to go to stores. So you know, Amazon Pantry will take an absolute battering due to that. You know, be used on a regular basis. Whereas for the likes of, you know, you or certainly our parents and stuff, they'll still go to the shops. I mean, shops will never go away.
I don't know that one.
Alexa's still.
Alexa's listening.
don't send in the conversation.
It turns out you've just ordered about 18 things now because I was listening all the time.
But aye, like, whereas our parents will still visit stores, do you know what I mean? So, but there's taking it too far when you're going on to like pantry and then shit like that. Like buying books as well.
Books in general. Imagine reading.
I know, that's a weird.
It's the 21st century. Come on, grow up. Watch a video.
Get some fucker to read it for you. Audiobook on the way.
Come on, grow up. Get a YouTube video up.
Exactly. Fucking hell.
But obviously, moving on then, so, you know, the struggle, and obviously, good luck to you in getting a job. I'm sure it'll hopefully come soon.
I fucking hope so. I'm losing my goddamn mind.
But the last time we talked, right, on the podcast, I don't think we mentioned football once, right? However, you've become really fucking back into your football nowadays, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a turnaround. I kind of lost interest for a while. It was dark days.
Well, for those that aren't,
I'd hate it as well if I like supported Sunderland.
Well, I was going to say, for those that don't know, you support Sunderland, fortunately or unfortunately, depends upon who you are listening.
Very fucking unfortunately.
No, but like, because like when we first met and first started chatting, I remember you saying like, oh, you know, I'm a Sunderland fan, but like, I haven't been to games in years, so I don't really watch or care about it now. And I will say, like, since like lockdown, probably because it's just you and me that are unemployed now that I know, but obviously we see each other very regularly. The conversation always turns to football now, like no matter what.
I've been getting more into, like, that's not just lockdown. It was like before lockdown as well. I think it was, I don't know why I got back more into it. I think it may have just been like connecting again with the family and that, like, because we've, like, obviously I live up in Scotland, but I've got family down in Sunderland as well. So like talking more to them, they're always talking about the game because they're all massive like Sunderland fans. Obviously, they're all big into football.
Poor
And then
him.
we had the big thing where we went down to Wembley and lost. So we went down for that.
Shame you
Uh,
couldn't go to the one that he's won recently.
I know. That's just typical though. That's typical Sunderland. Is the only time we'll ever fucking win anything is when nobody can be there to like celebrate.
It's typical of anything. I mean, 2020 for me is like one of the greatest years of football ever. Like Liverpool won the league for the first time in my life. Scotland got to the first major tournament since I was 1 month old, and I can't see any of it like live and in person.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking frustrating. But to be honest, like it's a bit of a resurgence at Sunderland as well because everything's kind of turned around.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, when you didn't watch football, you're in the Premier League. I would say you're flying high, but let's be honest, you're scraping by, not getting relegated.
We were surviving. We were performing the Great Escape pretty much every fucking season.
And then, unfortunately, David Moyes finally took you down.
Because the man's a muppet. Doesn't know how to manage the team.
He's coasting West Ham to Europe this year.
It's actually mad, to be fair.
I'm telling you,
Moyes go up.
If he gets them into Europa League, West Ham are fucked next year. I'm just.
Do you
saying
think
this
is like his midlife crisis? Is him doing well?
So it's fucking 60-year-old crisis at this rate.
It is mental though. They're on and stuff, and obviously they managed to secure Jesse Lingard just playing good as well.
Imagine that.
It's mad.
No, like it's good, and like I do like it. However, I guarantee this is a one-season thing. This will
fucking absolutely. But people said that about Leicester as well, and it was true. They had a good run in Europe, but they were terrible in the league. And then obviously, as the years have gradually went on, they got a hold of Brendan Rodgers and stuff. They have got better, and they're comfortably top 4, but they'll never ever win the league again.
Probably not, or at least it'll be a very weird season again if they.
Aye. You know what I mean? To be fair, at the start of this season, you could have literally said anybody could win the league because it was just silly. But obviously, the Pep that we all know took his team at the top.
Unfortunately, became a genius again, right at the wrong time.
Somehow just found his groove again, a fucking body prick.
But anyway, back to Sunderland, and then the big Netflix documentary came around. Things were looking hopeful. You were going to spend 1 year in the Championship, go straight back up. That was how it was phrased. That's what it was there for.
That might be why I stopped watching.
And then you went straight back down to League One.
I think after we got demoted into the Championship is when I stopped. And then we got demoted again. And I was just like, I'm just fucking done with this. And then we got a new manager in. We got some new players in. Kind of hopeful because do you know what, right? Jack Ross is a decent manager. I think he got unnecessary stick for being at Sunderland.
Well, he done really well back in Scotland.
He did well with Sunderland. He got us to the playoff. Like, was it the final? I don't know if it was the final. It might have been the semi-final.
I think it might have been the semi, yeah.
In fact, no, it was the final because we beat Portsmouth in the semis. Oh
yeah, the Charlton. That was when Charlton's Joe fucking Aribo as well. Tore your team apart.
Didn't they score an own goal?
Yeah, they after like a minute. I seem to remember. It was a terrible back pass.
And then like Sunderland was just typical Sunderland. We just didn't turn up to the game at all.
And then Jamie really enjoyed getting Joe after that.
Joe Aribo was still one of the best signings we've made. It was just amazing.
It's our fucking bin reversing or something. Bin lorry reversing or something.
There's a fair amount of work happening outside my gaff, so could be something like that. But have you watched the Sunderland documentary, Allan?
I've watched it. You've said that you've refused to still watch it, don't you?
Well, I lived through it. I don't need to watch
it. It's an interesting series.
I think it's the best. I was saying this to you in the day. I think it's the best football Obviously, I've not seen every football documentary, but for me, it's the best football documentary I've ever seen.
Ever seen?
Yeah, ever.
You've clearly not watching it in a row.
For good reason. I don't care about that fish.
It's embarrassing. But it's probably the second best I've ever seen. Behind me.
There's no bias here. That's not.
But no, it's an interesting one.
It's such a sad story
it's like-
as well. It's like
the demise
kicking-
is just horrid.
It's like kicking like an old dog or something like that when it's down. Like you shouldn't be watching it. It's horrible to watch.
But
You just can't look away.
That's exactly it. It's so horrible but so fun. But no, it's funny.
Tell you what, when you get promoted, right, you should rewatch it to remind yourself of like how bad it was at one point.
No, you're sitting pretty this season, aren't you? You're 2 games in hand and 3 points behind or something. Or is it
Yeah.
3 games in hand and 2 points behind. That kind of mean.
We're 2 games. Well, us and Peterborough, who are second, we're both 2 games behind Hull. But we're both.
I thought they were. Are they on 38? I thought Peterborough played a game. I could be wrong.
No, I from the graphic I saw today.
40.
From the graphic I saw today, I thought it was we're on the same games, but we might be one behind them as well.
I think you're one behind now because you just played Oxford before this.
Let's quickly Google.
Yeah, go on.
No. Sunderland's definitely played 37 because I remember seeing it because that wee rat bastard scored for them.
Aye.
Your favourite.
He'll not be named. Enough.
I can't remember if I spoke about this on a pod before, but I remember watching Scotland v Ireland at Parkhead. For the first thing about that, right, that was the dumbest decision ever to host that game at Parkhead. They should have hosted at Ibrox, made them actually feel like the enemy opposed to welcome.
Yeah.
But when, oh my God, I've never heard a crowd hate one player more than every time Aidan McGeady even was like within 10 yards of the ball, the fucking booing that was going on.
Scum.
He's a Sunderland legend now.
I mean, that doesn't take much.
Absolutely fucking incredible for us.
I'm a Newcastle fan. Fucking despise that bastard, you know. But so what's the table sitting then, Euan? Is it 3 games in hand, 2 games in hand?
We are 3 games in hand on Hull. Peterborough 2 games in hand, but Peterborough are only 2 points behind, and we are 3 points behind.
So you are sitting pretty. So you could overtake both.
We could.
How many more games left?
There's 9 for us.
Okay.
So 8 for Peterborough, 7 for
me,
Hull.
How many games? It's 46, isn't it?
46 games. We play 2 games every week. Normally play on a Tuesday and then a Saturday. So it's mental, honestly. Like we play so many games, and then on top of that, we had all of our like cup games and stuff like that.
You just play so much more rounds as well. It is a bit nuts to be fair, but you know, in that position though, 3 games behind with 3 points behind, you've got to be feeling a bit of confidence.
Yes and no. We play Peterborough next. We play at their place. However, their ground is fucking atrocious. It's worse than a ploughed bloody field. It's so bad. And then we have to play Hull again, and then we also need to play Blackpool twice, and they've been in a really good run of form recently.
So you've got quite a difficult run then.
We've got a lot of difficult games. I don't think any game is going to be easy at this point anymore, though.
But okay, well, do you think you'll do it then? Do you think you'll get promoted to the Championship?
I think this is the season that we could be promoted, and I think we're going to get automatic. I don't know if we'll win like the league altogether, but I think we'll get automatic. No, it doesn't at all. We really don't give a shit as long as we go up.
What's the automatic? First 2?
Yeah. And then it's third to sixth.
Third to sixth is playoffs.
Do you think though, if worse came to the worst and you were in the playoffs, do you think you'd still win it?
If we were up against, who are we up against? We'd be up against Lincoln, Portsmouth, Blackpool, possibly. Do you know what? That'd be a very Sunderland thing to do. Is to go up against fucking Portsmouth in the final and then absolutely shit it.
Go on, give us a definitive answer now. Will this be the year?
I think this is the year. I think what are we on now? We're on something like a 10-game unbeaten streak or something like that.
Jeez.
We're going pretty good.
My team.
So it's almost as good as the Rangers.
It's going. It's close at the top, and to be quite honest, it's pretty close at the bottom as well. But it's close at the top, and I think we've really hit our stride again. Like we kind of stumbled a bit. Like we did well to begin in the beginning. We kind of stumbled a bit in the middle, but now we're really back to running, and
Yeah, because
it's looking good.
Up until I came back from Jersey, you're sort of saying it's not going great. But since like we've been going back on walks again and hanging out a bit more, you've sort of been saying like quite positive, like yeah, things are going well again, things are going great.
Plus, we've got like a whole bunch of players out injured. We've been playing 2 midfielders in the back 4. Past,
we could.
Now what team does that remind you of?
Oh, we can fucking relate, by the
way. Which team in the north of England does that remind you?
Fuck me, we can relate with a good old Liverpool. Fucking Jesus, man.
We've got a man with no pace whatsoever as our right back, and we've got a centre back who is honestly he's too lightweight to be a centre back, but he's been doing really well, so can't complain.
For League One.
Yeah. And honestly, Dion Sanderson, who we got on loan from Wolves, has been fucking incredible. He's honestly our Rolls Royce at this level. He's way too good, and he's only like 21 or something. He's fucking incredible.
Wolves have had a shit of a season, so wait till he goes back there next season.
That's what's scary though. That you can literally grab a player for the Prem, and I'd probably say about 80% of teams, and they would go down to League One and just absolutely dismantle it because of the talent that's on display in the Premier League right now.
I mean, it's like when Aberdeen got James Maddison a few years ago, like well beyond that level, carried us for a year and done absolutely brilliant. Clearly never at Aberdeen's level. But it's nice when you get that player for once that just sticks out above the rest.
Look at John McGinn as well.
Yeah, Jesus, fucking
John McGinn's is honestly class.
Is carrying Scotland so much at the moment.
He's
brilliant.
He's absolutely class at football in every way, shape and form. There's a lot of good talent for Scotland though.
I wonder if now they're finally going to play him as like a second striker or attacking midfielder.
They'll play him as a bit behind the 9. They'll definitely play a 10 role. The thing is, they need to push Scott McTominay up. Scott McTominay should never be in centre back.
He does well there, though. That's the issue.
It's an outrageous thing. He's a much better midfielder.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
I don't watch the game, so I actually can't comment on whether he's been good or not so far. But I know he's a better midfielder than the centre half.
That's the issue. Like he has done really well at centre back, that's why he keeps getting played there. I think if we're playing a 5 at the back, he fits in fine there.
I mean, what's your alternative? Grant Hanley, like
he played.
Oh, well.
Yeah, he was playing.
And scored.
What a player.
You know what
also, sickens me?
Are you forgetting about fucking Andy Considine? Easily should be starting to centre back.
Scott McKenna as well,
well, he got brought on actually for what's his name, McTominay at one point.
What I will say is, I watched Scotland. What was the game they drew? Iceland. No, is it Iceland? No, it's
Israel.
Yeah. You're not going into that game. It's just a guaranteed draw because none of the two of the teams can beat each other. Yeah. I watched about 60, maybe 70 minutes of the game, on and off on my phone and stuff because I wasn't dead interested. And like I said, I already knew what the result was going to be.
We know your feelings towards the Scottish national team.
But the sickening part was just how much the captain of that team is how bad he is. It's just scary. Like, can I just put it in perspective for you? You'll hear this once name and you'll never hear it again.
Okay. I'm glad this is getting recorded.
On camera, you'll never hear this again. Kieran Tierney is by far the best left back in Scotland.
I would agree wholeheartedly.
I was hoping you would run out because that was all his agenda the other night.
He is fucking head and shoulders above Andy Robertson in every department. And it absolutely gobsmacks me he plays for a team like Arsenal. And I'm fucking gutted we went and bought Andy Robertson over by Kieran Tierney. There, I've said it. And I'll never say it again.
What you've just said is basically word for word what I said to Liam.
It's actually a joke. Like, how can you not use your right foot?
I mean, you really have the robot,
honestly, I cannot stand him by. You know something? He's a good cunt. He's quite funny, right? And you see when you watch his interviews and stuff, you can tell he's a banter about the dressing room, right? And he takes pride in playing for the badge.
It's actually weird. You see him compared to Trent. He's like got so much more personality compared to Trent. Weirdly,
like he's a buzz, right? And but the issue is this season alone, you see how much Van Dijk covered his arse, like more than ever. Like, because people say when obviously Van Dijk was kind of missing last season at times, or Gomez was making mistakes and Van Dijk was covering. You never really spoke about Robertson, but basically this season alone, the true Robertsons came out. Whenever he goes backwards, he can't go backwards because he's not got a Van Dijk on the ball. Like, he gets carried so much. He's the weakest link in that whole Liverpool team. And honestly, I would rather Simicus at the back.
No, you wouldn't.
See, I was saying this during the Scotland game. Like, why is Tierney playing as part of the back three and Robertson on the wing?
Did he not get an assist in that game as well?
Tierney got 3 assists.
Tierney got
Robertson,
3 assists.
Robertson got 1.
Was that in the Faroe Islands game though?
Yeah.
Aye.
But I'm talking about in the Israel game. It was Tierney that assisted McGinn, wasn't it?
No, not the Faroe Islands was when Hanley scored, wasn't it? I think that was Robertson's. But
Israel, I'm saying.
Oh, the Israel. Sorry, yeah, I think so.
It was Tierney that assisted McGinn, I'm sure. That was the only game I watched because the Faroe Islands, I have no idea who scored but Tierney getting a triple assist is what I've just heard. So
no, he was. He was playing centre back. He spent most of the time in the opposition box.
He was playing centre back and still showing Robertson how to do his fucking job. It's honestly absurd. Like, he's just head and shoulders above the guy.
It's that's so fucking bad. Why is he the captain of this squad as well? It's an embarrassment.
No, you are saying why you say like playing at centre back. It does make sense. Like, he is the most versatile defender we have. He can play. I know he's not great at right back, but he can play there. He can play left back, left wing, centre back. He can literally play every defensive position pretty much. So like, that's why he gets also put there, and it's obvious that he gets put there because of his quality. Which against the Faroe Islands when he's allowed to run into the box, it's great to see. It will be interesting though to see how he does when we play like Croatia or England and that in the Euros.
And scary game.
Do you think he might get a big? Do you think though he might get a big move, like if he does really well in the Euros, or do you think it's one of those things of just?
I genuinely can't see him being at Arsenal in the next 2 seasons.
I think he's stuck there, because
how long's left in his contract?
4 years he signed for.
Right, well, fucking Arsenal aren't going to sell him unless you pay an absurd amount.
No, that's the point. One, they won't sell him, but also two, I think genuinely people will be biased in the sense of because he's not English, they won't sign him. So like if you're all
that's how we know. Like, that is genuinely so far gone. That idea that he's not English is gone now. I genuinely believe that. Like,
do you know what I think? The problem is I can seriously see them sign for City.
Who's left back?
I don't.
Yeah. I can City, like the one position they don't have a quality player at the moment is left back. I can totally see City signing them.
No. They'll definitely not. They wouldn't go out and buy Tierney for a scary amount of money when they've got players like Shevchenko and Cancelo sitting on the bench. Trust me, it's just not going to happen. The teams that are likely to buy him is Liverpool to replace Robertson, or Man U, because
no, don't say that.
No, I was just thinking that though,
because genuinely Luke Shaw has not got a lot left in him.
He's done really well this year though.
He has had a good season now, but he's just Tierney Shaw. You wait up, it's obvious.
How old is Shaw?
He's about the same age. He's 24.
24.
Yeah, roughly. Because they signed for him when he was like 18 or something.
And the only other team I can see him joining is Tottenham.
Nah, I don't think. I mean, if I was in Tierney's position, I'd rather be at Arsenal than fucking Spurs.
Mourinho as well. Do you think he'll be anywhere near a box? He'll be in his own box. He won't be in
I grant you that. But as in a team that needs a left back, those are your kind of, your big ones anyway. Obviously, Leicester need a good left back and stuff, but they're not going to buy.
Yeah, well, he picked Arsenal over Leicester.
Aye, exactly. I mean, it's a suicidal move going to Arsenal, regardless of where you're from. Like, look at Aubameyang. Like, does he even play anymore? Ozil's career was wasted there. Lacazette is absolutely shite now. Like, it's just embarrassing. If you want to ruin your career, Arsenal's the place to go.
We're saying this
I'd say Spurs is the same, to be honest.
Nah, I don't know.
I mean,
Harry
Tottenham
Kane's
have-
captain of the England squad.
Tottenham have a good squad still. The problem is Mourinho. Like they fucking Dele Alli's like their fourth choice attacking midfielder. Like, do you know how mad that is that they have that much depth?
I know. Like, Tottenham's a good squad. Honestly, they've just not got a manager that can take them all the way.
And a defence, to be fair, because they're still playing Dyer there.
No, well, Eric Dyer's he's a talent.
I mean, his talent is in his name. Let's just say that much.
Yeah, I'm not arguing the point. But Tottenham's the only other team I could have seen. But who knows? I don't think it'll be Arsenal.
I think it's someone that was probably in the biggest rivalry in the UK. I think he knows too much about that and has too much loyalty to like jump ship to an opposition fan. But yeah, no, sort of like going back quickly to Sunderland though. I wanted to just ask you, like, how was that feel? Because am I right in thinking it's your first trophy since 1970 something now? This year they won.
Yeah, 1973.
The coveted Papa John Trophy.
Yeah, there is a bigger trophy.
Fucking trophy.
There is not a bigger trophy.
Just reminds me of when like like the League Cup used to be called like the Coca-Cola Cup or something like that.
I know.
Well, it was the Checkatrade Trophy before it became fucking.
Oh, what a horrible name!
I know.
What a horrible fucking. I used to hate when we played in that cup. Like any team, in fact, played in that cup. It was just embarrassing. Like the fact you would even turn up to play in that cup was just, it made me feel sick.
Well, that was the game I went to Wembley for. The Checkatrade Trophy final.
Oh, embarrassing! I'm ashamed to even be on this podcast with you. No, it's I hate the individual cups that we get though, and genuinely like, across Scotland as well. You know, I know you
not
won
a fan
every
of the
chance.
Iron Brew Cup.
No,
That's
I'm not a
because
fan.
you didn't win it. Shite bags.
Fuck off. I'm not a fan. I'm only a fan of the Scottish Cup and the actual league. You can take the League Cup away. You can take that away for all I care fuck about. It's who won it this year? Oh, Livy. Like they closed it.
No, St Johnstone.
St Johnstone, aye, they beat Livy. But that there tells you the story that who wants to win it is wee teams. See, unless your cup actually, it's not about having that cup, like having the League Cup in your possession is a good thing, but it's the significance of getting it. So you need money to back a cup.
The thing is though, right, like see as someone that up until recently, to be honest, has only ever experienced trophies in their team like a handful of times. Like I always loved the cups. Like, see when Liverpool won the League Cup back in 2012, I was fucking so buzzing off that. Like, and the League Cup means nothing. And we lost in the FA Cup final like a week later. And that's obviously the bigger trophy. But the fact that we even beat a Diddy team like Cardiff in a final, it just meant so much to me, like seeing like that seeing a trophy. And I know in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter compared to like when you finish in the league or, you know, how well you do in the Champions League. But I always love like a final day. I always think it's like an incredible feeling.
I didn't get that with this final.
You didn't?
Nah.
Because
I mean, it might be due to because it's all stay at home and everything, but winning the cup against fucking who was it? We played Tranmere, fucking Tranmere Rovers, and you're just like, well, yeah, we should be beating them. And what's fucking sad about it is on the day they were the better team.
They were.
They were the better team.
That's the ideology behind it. It's a small club mentality. If you go into it thinking, "Oh, we're playing Tranmere Rovers. It's a cup final day," and you're excited about that, and then you've won it, and you look back and you think it was Tranmere Rovers. We should have beat them because you're going into it thinking we're a small club mentality. Like it's just like the League Cup when we were in the final against Cardiff. Liam was saying there, like. I'm going into that. I think we if we lose this, it's terrifying.
Oh yeah, it's curtains. It's like in this way though when we won the Champions League a few years ago. Like it's Tottenham, and like don't get me wrong, they have a good team, like we said earlier, but the fucking embarrassment if we lose that is monumental.
And again, they were the better side on the night. I would always say they were
we
the
were
better
both
side.
very shit.
It was a terrible final.
But yeah, put it this way: if we played Ajax, we were fucked that year.
100%. Thank God Lucas Moura scored their goals.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
It's the only thing he's done good for.
That final will never be tarnished for me though, based on the fact of the semi-final that we had. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, no.
Like that competition will never be tarnished for me, even though it was Tottenham. Maybe like they never win trophies like that. That'll still never play in my mind just because of the semi-final.
The only thing that made it shit for me was the fact that we couldn't watch it together. I was fucking gutted that we couldn't watch it.
What was I doing? I was
on
a stag do. Stag do at that time. That's right. I watched it in the mad place we were in. We all watched it actually. Fucking me and my dad jumped my bit and we're in with a fucking bunch of Tottenham fans in Glasgow, and we was just like jumping my bit like fuck, and I was like, oh no, okay, we've let's go, and we left straight after it, to be fair. But like all of us were there, like everybody was on the stag do, and we just kind of all got up and left, and it was like dead awkward. But that competition will never be tarnished for me. But it's the same with the League Cup. Like when St Mirren put Rangers out this year, it was like everybody was like, "Oh, this is shocking. This is embarrassing. What the fuck?" I was like, honestly, I give a fuck. I could honestly give less of a fuck.
Saw you in the league.
Well, no, but the Scottish Cup as well. Of course, I like winning.
Do you think that's different though? Say you had a shit year right this year, okay? Say you went in the running for winning win the league. Say the only thing you could do this year was like win a League Cup, and you're playing against a St Mirren, say for example. You know you should beat them. You know you probably will beat them, but you're not up for it more on the day because that's all that matters.
No, for a League Cup, honestly, no. Like even if it's the last time we've got to play for.
Yeah.
Like if we win that, we can't brag about it. Do you know what I mean? It's like if Celtic go on and win the Scottish Cup and the League Cup, in the league, like what are we going to brag about the Mickey Mouse Cup? Nah, I'm alright. Like, it's nice to have in the trophy room and that, but no, it's like I'm not going to fucking brag about it. But it's another number on the wall. Like, it's not for me. But luckily it never came to that. That's what I will say.
Yeah, another thing I was going to ask you about then, Euan, obviously, you're watching on the day. Most people like to have a drink maybe when they watch the final, but you have since given up alcohol.
I no longer drink. I've not drank since sometime last year, I think, maybe.
Which is interesting because you got a bottle of whiskey in the background.
That is not whiskey. That is traditional.
Mead.
That's traditional mead. Aye.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I bought that before. I actually bought 2 bottles and then I gave a bottle to Duncan. It tastes like shit, so I wouldn't recommend it.
The one you gave to Duncan tasted pretty good.
Did you try it?
The mead, aye. That was before I stopped. That was before I started drinking.
But
to be fair though, I've been a drink either. There's just no point in it. It's
he says with that.
Futile.
Yeah. But
absolutely futile.
But no, because like obviously, we've had like quite a few nights out together, and we've both been off our faces quite a lot, and we've had like the pool nights out, and we've had birthdays and all that sort of stuff. What was it that sort of made you go, enough is enough to a certain extent? Because not many people your age would give it up like indefinitely.
The hangovers to a point, and I think it's something to do with when I started driving as well. Because I didn't start driving until I was 23, 24. So like, I was a year ago. So I think I was 24 by then.
Yeah, you would, because you just passed your test when we started in football.
Aye. That was a fucking experience. I fucking
just getting flashbacks to the 15-0 losses, to be honest.
I'm just getting flashbacks to whatever his name was getting kicked in the balls and just sitting out for the rest of the game. Bradley.
That was a cracker. I'm still happy that happened to this day.
And
then we had no one to bring on.
We were already playing like a man down.
I know. And then 2 weeks later, we had a fucking squad of 25.
I know.
You literally, we had like A, B, C, and D team by the time we finished.
I know how many cunts I knew, by the way. Fucking mind-blowing.
They wanted to play football.
And then not even half the people got on, so we were playing fucking 12 aside.
We were in the cages where the big boys were playing the big games.
Yeah, we're for the wee puny side, which is why we'll be sticking to 5 aside on our own rules from now on.
100%. But I disagree with him in terms of people getting up at our age and stuff. If you've got a weak mind, you kind of get something up. But like you know me at the first however long when nights out I never drank, and I still had, was still probably the most happy there without a drink in me. How do you find it now, Euan? Obviously, I don't know if you've been out since you've stopped drinking, but
Well, I mean,
You've been out a few times, haven't you? So
When
before COVID.
I
know you've
no,
came
I
to pub
actually
with
I
us a
haven't
few
I
times, but
haven't
not
been
for
out. I haven't been out on a night out since.
like a proper night out. Because we went to the pub like a few times since you stopped. I remember.
But I think the few times we went out, I was still driving. So
Nah, right.
So going into a nightclub when we go back, right? Let's say
He's
everybody-
threading it. He is
everybody's out. What's the script? Obviously you'll stick to no drinking, and I appreciate that. A good man does. But how are you finding it? Can you dance sober, or are you? What's the
he
mentality?
He is the. To be fair, though, he had a drink, so I don't know what it'll be like now. But he was the best person to go on a dance floor with, Jamie. Honestly, the best cunt to be on
When
a
he had a
dance.
drink on him.
I'm not sure if it was just because he had a drink on him. I don't know.
it was
if it
more the
just
people
rage.
around me.
Yeah. No, honestly, right now, bear in mind, and I think Euan won't mind saying this, but Euan's, I'm not a tall guy. Euan's also a wee bit shorter than me, so, not the tallest of guys. So, you're standing on a very crowded dance floor and people are always budging into you. Now, providing they're not being dicks about it, most people will just be like, oh, sorry, or, take a
I
step
try
to
and be
the
like
side.
that. Like,
no.
oh, come on,
Every single time, right? Bear in mind, you'd be mid-dance. Every single time someone would like graze past him, this
That's not
cunt's
true.
turning around and it's just like gearing him the like I'm going
That's
to
not
kill
true.
you.
Like, there's people squeezing past, and if you
No,
can
that
squeeze
is true.
past, that's fine. I don't mind that. If
No,
they
no,
can squeeze past,
that is
no
true.
worries. No worries whatsoever, right? But it's the people who are like, I don't know if it's just because they're drunk or if it's just because they're being an arsehole or what, right? And they bump into you to the point where you're having to like relocate to the other side of the fucking room so you don't fucking deck the cunt.
Yeah.
Like, they piss me off so much.
But it's so funny, right? Because your mood, literally, you'll be like all happy and in the zone, like dancing, and then like your face just fucking drops as if like, I am going to fucking.
It's so
rip the
true,
head
because
off
I
this
bumped
cunt.
into him once, and I bumped into him before, and he gave me the death stare, and then he realised it was me, and he was like, all right, and I was like,
yes, so we've got proof it happens, yes.
I remember that. You were out
I can
with,
safely say I don't remember this at all.
I can't remember who you were out with, but there was Steve's, and Liam was out that night, but I don't know where he was. He wasn't there, because I remember coming up and asking you where he was, and you just blanked, like you had no answer. But that was after I bumped into you before, and you gave me the death stare, and I was like, "You all right?" And then he was like, and then it was like there was no conversation at all. I was like,
I must have had a bit of drink in me by that point then.
but that was into Liam there. I was like, I went for the first, I don't know if it was maybe a year and a half, 2 years of going into nightclubs and no having a drink in me, and then driving home that same morning. Do you know what I mean? Like that was bread and butter to me. Walking into a nightclub sober, walking out sober, it was just I didn't find I need to drink. I could still go and probably have a better time than most other people do.
I respect it as well, because like a lot of, you, Jamie, and yourself know, I've said on the podcast many times, obviously, I was doing a lot of underage drinking, from quite an early age. And a lot of my friends at the time wouldn't drink, and that was never a problem. I think that was why it was easier for me to get around. So like even nowadays, if we still go to the pub, there's so a few folk that don't drink and choose not to. And I have full respect for them. I think it's great, but obviously I think maybe not as much now, but I think certainly in like you grow up in a culture where, especially in the UK, where it's like, you go to the pub and you're not having a drink and people look at you fucking strange as fuck, don't they? Just like, what do you mean you're not drinking, even though that's what you should be doing realistically, shouldn't be drinking?
I think the one problem I'm going to have is people constantly asking why. Like,
sorry about that.
No, it's not that, but it's like, do you know when you're like, oh,
I used to get that.
Someone asks you if you drink, you say, nah, I don't drink. And then there has to be a good reason for it. Because otherwise they don't take it seriously, and they're just like, no, that's not a good reason. You should just get a drink. And it's like, no, I don't fucking want to.
I think that's the thing though, just like, people want to, I don't know, from my point of view, like, say if I'm like out maybe not as much more now, but certainly back in the day, I used to be worried, like, if I was in charge of a night out, say, and I had like and I arranged all, and I had like a big group of folk out, I'd always be panicking that folk weren't be having a good night and be thinking it was shite. So I'd like, it's sort of that thing of, oh, you're not drinking, oh, does that mean, something's wrong or something's happened, sort of thing.
Or like you've got addicted or something.
Yeah, or like
you just take turns in fucking deciding nights out.
No, but it's just like my friends like from school, I'm the most fucking organised. I mean, I think you'd probably appreciate that. I'm pretty good about organising things, so it's just left to me to sort of.
I mean, you're fucking late for recording this, but.
Oh, caring to someone's birthday, God. But like my mates would always be like, yeah, Liam's going to sort it, because like I would either know the best places to go or I would just be the most up for it, so I would just organise.
But your digital media, you were doing all your research and that, and doing the reviews.
Mate, I was doing PowerPoint presentations on, right, we start the night here and we finish the night here. You get exactly.
We take a detour at 3:15 in the morning. We take a detour for here. That would be the kind of thing you would come away with, to be fair. But it's interesting. But
I think that's from my perspective when I thought about it at first. Like, not in the sense of like, oh, you must drink. I think it's more the case of just like, oh, I wonder if it's because something's wrong. But it's also a bad way to look at it, because there doesn't need to be something wrong for you not to drink or not to smoke or not to do anything like that. I suppose just when it is the norm in this country, like it is, like you just sort of expect everyone to do it in a way.
Well, I stopped smoking because I thought it was fucking disgusting, to be quite honest. Like I could feel my lungs like
I couldn't even picture
internally.
You I'm good. I'm Godsmack you did smoke.
Oh, I used to smoke quite a lot.
Couldn't even picture it.
I think most people go through a period of smoking, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that probably everyone will try, and I think most people will probably be like, one's enough, and I'll never do it again. But
like at a point when I was in like the end of high school, like I had more mates that smoked than didn't smoke. Nowadays, I only have a few friends that smoke, so it sort of shows like how much you sort of change perception.
I've never had that period.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Never.
Nah, like most of my mates like smoke regularly, not even like party smokers. They got to that point where like, it'd be like 20 pack a day sort of thing. But nowadays it's only like,
And then one of those it's like fucking 14 quid for 10 fags now.
Well, that's the thing, like, I mean, all you gotta bear in mind as well, like all my mates, who most of them wouldn't have had jobs at the time, just getting rollies and that, just like fucking scraping together whatever tobacco you can get to fucking have a fag.
Madness. But that's the social smokers are the ones that piss me off though.
Oh, they're the worst.
Aye, like fuck
I thought you. I'm not trying to bait you out here, but I thought you were.
Nah, it depends how bad I am. Like if I see somebody smoking and I'm talking away to them, and they offer it, sometimes I just do it just to be nice, and I don't know why. But it's because I'm that fucking ruined. But like if I'm remotely sober, not a chance. Like, I will, he's a joint, no bother. But if you're going to fling a fucking fag in my face, nah, you keep it. Not for me. But, I agree with you and massively. It's horrid. Total disgusting.
It actually bothers me now, like, even when we were hanging out, like, today.
Fucking Oliver, holy shit.
Oliver, he said he'd smoked something like, 12 since he'd sat down?
And this is like 2 hours.
Yeah, it was over maybe like 2 hours. So there probably was less moments when he didn't have a fag in his hand than when he did.
It's one of those wee cigarillas as well, not even no filters or anything like that. It's just pure tobacco.
And I was just honestly like,
it's fucking
even having that near me.
Well, that's the thing, though. Yeah, I mean, the good thing is now for me, because also I was around at such a young age and everyone used to do it, like I'm sort of not immune to it. I still fucking hate the smell, but like I can get past it. Whereas like most people would probably be like fucking coughing their lungs up at that.
Does Euan smoke?
Yeah, Mackenzie.
Ah, yeah.
He did, but he quit a long time ago, like 2 years ago now, I think.
Is that long?
Yeah. Yeah, most of my mates now that have been smoking since 13, 14 have fully stopped.
You still hear me?
Fair, yeah. which is full credit to them, to be honest. But yeah, so like, was it for any sort of like health reasons as well that you would have given these things up, or is it just like you're just fed up of like the hangovers, like you said?
For smoking, it was for health because I didn't want to absolutely destroy my lungs. I find that's probably not a great idea. For drinking, it was I hated the hangovers. I'd always get awful hangovers, and I just
Can't
felt
relate.
fucking shite every time I'd wake up. I'd wake up and I'd just feel like I'm never doing this again. And it finally got to the point where it's just like I don't want to do this again ever.
No,
So I stopped for that, and also it saves so much money.
Aye,
Like an unbelievable. Like
massive.
I don't know if it was just me. Like I know some people can have very cheap nights out, but when I go on a night out, I ended up spending like 40 fucking quid every night.
Yeah, no, I can easily go out and spend like a tenner for the full night and just nurse my drinks if it's not like a proper night out.
Well, it's a problem with our friends group though, because like everyone's like, oh, it's your fucking round, oh, it's your round, and then you and Mackenzie comes along and is like, do you want to fucking get a bottle of wine? You're like, why not? So you're spending
Yeah,
another like fuck knows how much on that.
Ian is a bad influence when it comes to drinking because credit to him, I always love going out with him because he's always up for it, no matter what the occasion is. He will do whatever you're all doing, so it always makes up for it.
And now
I never really had that
because
issue.
now because I'm driving, like I don't like not being able to drive the car, so I just don't drink.
But that's what I used
Way
to feel
too
like
easy.
when I went into the food bar. I was like, you got a fucking taxi him.
Exactly.
That
And
was
they're
it.
so
That-
expensive.
Yeah, I suppose it's more shit for you, where obviously I've never had that problem to sort of consider, I don't need to get a train home or the bus or a taxi sort of thing. I can, thankfully, I'm only a 10-minute walk away from my gaff whenever I'm out, so it's never too bad.
Well, because I live in a different town, it costs me like 20 quid every time I go out to get a taxi back, or it'd take me like a good half an hour, like or sitting about waiting for a train, and then
Yeah.
finally when the train journey's finished, having to walk all the way up the bloody hill. So it's just
Oh yeah, up the hill as well.
just don't want to fucking deal with it anymore, you know.
No, it doesn't make sense. That's
That's
self-control, something you need to learn. Like,
I found
It
it
is
really
weird.
easy as well.
It is weird though, like when you drive, it is amazing how lazy you get all of a sudden. like you don't have to walk anywhere.
Oh, I drive
Just like,
everywhere.
I know, it's just like, yeah, go in the car.
did you feel your general health improved since you stopped smoking, you and like just generally playing football and stuff? Do you feel like you can?
I
Do you
feel
feel better? Is what I'm trying to
I
get. At.
feel much better. Like obviously we've not done a whole lot since obviously like second lockdown and all that. But like when we were going out and we were playing those 40-minute games, and like before we got the massive squad, so I was basically on the whole game. Like obviously I felt knackered at the end of it, but it felt great.
Puffing at your arse, aye.
It felt absolutely fantastic though.
Especially since we're always defending, so you're always running back and defending.
Oh,
No, it's different, Gravy, because like during the time, Liam will tell you that when I was losing weight at a decent amount, like I'd basically stopped drinking at that point. Obviously, you're watching, you're eating, that's kind of standard stuff when you're trying to lose weight and stuff. Also stopped wanking though. Right? Now,
Saviour.
by the way,
Were you still with your girlfriend at the time?
I don't know, I can't remember. Aye. No, so basically, I've now not had a wank almost 2 years.
Wait, really?
Aye, honestly.
I would say that's
And-
quite impressive.
You know what's phenomenal about it is you're just constantly full of energy. It's great. and it's not even a lie. Like it's mad. See, way back in the day, somebody says to you, like, let's go down the Astro or something. You thought, nip in a quick chug. Right? Had a wank and then went in, you were fucked. And then, like, what I found was, like, they'll be like coming to the Astro and I'd be like going straight down and I'd just be full of energy the whole time. I'd be like, what the fuck's that? What's the difference? It's mad how much it preserves. And it's just great what I feel.
Yeah. There you go then. You've saved the world there, Jamie.
Stop chugging.
Saves lives.
It's the
Aye.
number one fitness
Aye,
tip
don't
you'll
wank.
get off this podcast.
It's,
Jamie's now getting the urge now. He's talked about it. He's like, shit, I've got
no. Because Bradley still doesn't believe me that I've done it. And, there's no other way to prove to him than put a camera 24
It's quite
hours.
impressive as well, considering lockdown as well, especially when you weren't working at the start. It's like,
Aye.
Jesus, you must have been bored at some points.
It's just, I've not got the need for it anymore. There's no urge to do it.
Yeah, you do always get that as well, that post clarity feeling when you're finished. You're just like, oh, what have I
The
done?
fuck have I done?
What have I done?
I am such a disappointment.
It's not even that. It's just like I look at myself and it's like, fuck, I waste like half an hour. It's just,
Oh no, fucking hell. Terrible topic, Gaffer. Not to hear about your wanking experience. But I will say is, right, boys, genuinely try it for a fucking week and honestly I'll not look back.
Yeah, I can't help. I will also agree with that.
I felt much healthier since I've stopped drinking as well. Like much healthier.
Really?
Like even like we've been playing like very little amount of football, like maybe once every like week or every couple of weeks.
It's not even really football, it's crossword challenge.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's not even like having a proper workout. It's just
Not that I get invited anyway.
Well, you did. You just walked, unfortunately.
No.
This is what you need.
I did, and then I came and I conquered, and then I've never been invited again, Euan. That's what happened to me.
You did get invited. You literally got invited last week, and you know you did. You were working.
No, was that not the time I came?
No, I invited you
Oh,
since
yeah.
You were working.
True.
That's what you need to do. You need to be unemployed. That you can do football sessions in the middle of the day like we do.
It was that was a good day though. Went down, smashed them all crossbar challenge, and then came up the road.
You enjoyed? Oh yeah, you don't even know. He took your place with Sam's team.
What in that volleyball? Fucking hell, man! Good luck. Or did you have fun?
Oh, we won.
Doesn't surprise me. Liam and that shit to be fair. But it's fucking Sam, man. Jesus fuck.
I was saying to like, have you ever seen like the Pink Panther movies, Jamie?
Aye. No,
you know, like the Inspector Clouseau. You know how like he just bumbles his way, like he always does like random shit, but he always somehow gets the win at the end of the day, no matter how like bad he is. That is Sam. Sam is fucking useless, but somehow he gets the win no matter what.
Because in the footballing aspect, I've got technical ability. I've not got energy. I've not got the speed. I've not got none of that. But actual technical ability, controlling the ball, I'm fine with. But see, having Sam in your team, it makes you feel like you're a spastic. Like it's incredible. Like I was sat there, right, and I was taking a centre, and I found myself doing shit he was doing, and I was like, why am I doing this? And it was like waiting on the ball coming in and hesitating. I'm like, that's because I've just seen him hesitate. And it's like, I know I can control that. They keep up, you just put it back across the bar and they fucking bother. But with Sam in your team, you just feel like a fucking Luddite, man. It's a joke.
Oh, there was times they kept on kicking the ball over to Sam's side instead of like in the middle or towards me. So there was a point where I was just like, right, fuck this. And I went over to Sam's side and I did Sam's job for him, then came back to my side. And it was just...
I didn't have that much energy. That was my issue.
Couldn't quite move that.
To be fair, I still win with Sam. I fuck knows how, but
I'm telling you, that boy somehow has just got good luck on his side. I don't know how, but he does.
Well, yeah, you won the crossbar challenge like 3 times in a row. I was like, fucking hell.
No, but Sam's actually already a crossbar challenge, to be fair. That's the one thing I'll grant him. Like, see when he turned up that day, Liam, turned up late, his actual ability to get close to the crossbar.
The day he turned up late, that could be any fucking day.
Today, right, when we were going to meet over the park for his birthday, he was 40. He messaged me, he's like, right, I'm heading down now. He took 40 minutes to arrive, and when I messaged him about like 20 minutes,
to get for St Ninians done?
To St Ninians to Kings Park from driving. And I said, where the fuck are you? He's like, oh, I'm in Lidl grabbing my Pepsi. It's just like, and that takes you fucking 40 minutes, doesn't it?
Nothing beats Sam, man. Sam's
the boy is a wonder.
He is quite the enigma.
I know. It'll be interesting with him in the podcast finally to hear all his stories.
If he ever decides to move his ass.
Yeah, true. One more thing though, Euan, before moving on. Obviously, we used to make the jokes back in the day about you being the Pool Society puller. You know, back in the day, you used to be a wee bit of a ladies' man when we used to go out. But obviously, since then, you know, you've got yourself in a relationship, a long distance relationship as well. What's that like? Because so I've never been in one myself. So,
it can certainly be tough. It's a lot of work. It's weird because it requires really, really good communication. Otherwise, it's just going like destined to fail, I find.
How long are we talking, by the way, just for clarity?
3 years.
Oh no, sorry, distance wise.
Oh, distance. Well, she's in North Africa at the moment.
At the moment,
She's at
applying.
home.
Okay, so she lives there. Or
Aye.
does she? Aye. North Africa. Well, okay. So, a couple of miles. You know what I mean?
Just a wee skip my jump.
We skip my jump there. So 3 years, but that's serious game because obviously I done still went to Glasgow for however long, and I thought that was hard enough. Like
that
I didn't find it
20-minute
hard.
drive was a struggle.
20 minutes. Fuck off. 5.
We know it's 20 minutes in your car.
But no, I genuinely found aspects of that difficult. I think it was due to me being a lazy bastard, but at the same time, I can now imagine any longer. Do you know what I mean? So it is interesting.
It's tough because obviously I can't just like head over, like take a weekend off and bugger over. But like I don't know. I think we're doing all right. Just because we're quite similar, we get along really really well. So like it's not like a lot of work, but it's just like there's something missing because you can't just like go over. So it's pretty frustrating, but like I mean we'll get there. It's fine.
When was the last time you seen her?
Fucking feels like forever ago. I don't know. I mean it's been since before lockdown.
Right, so you're automatically talking about a year. Minimum.
Easy over a year. So it's been a fucking age.
Madness. Can't imagine it.
Do you think like you had good communication skills beforehand? Do you think like this has really improved that as well? Because obviously you don't want to say something that fucks up, especially if it's long distance. You can't just chat in person to make it all better.
I think we always had pretty good communication. I think because of this, it's probably gotten a bit better. Like, I hate to be like the sappy romantic, but like, you do need to talk about like your feelings and shit like that. So I've gotten
That's
a
not
bit better
very manly of you.
I'm not,
talking about
drink.
your man, Euan.
I don't drink. I don't smoke. I talk about my feelings. What the fuck's going on here? Like,
sounds like a lassie to me.
Right.
Nah. Anyway, piss taken aside.
I don't know. It is tough, but I mean, like, if everything goes well, I think we'll be perfectly fine.
Just getting to the not the end it as such, but
the end to fucking COVID would be the genius.
That's the start.
Do you have any plans for either you to go over there or her to come to you, sort of thing, when this is done? Have you got like anything planned out?
Nothing set in stone. I do plan on going over to visit. But obviously at some point I will be working, so I won't be able to go over. So she'll probably have to come over here. But I think most likely I'll probably go over there because I still need to meet her parents and everything like that.
The difficult times.
They know I exist. They're just
that.
How long did it take them to know you exist?
2 years. I had to really make sure there was something there, I think 2 years felt about right.
To be fair though, like I'm sure the parents must have had an inkling. Otherwise, they'd just be like, "Who the fuck's our daughter talking to all this time? This is strange."
I don't know. Well, because I don't know. I don't think so. I think it was more her sister had an inkling. But
I mean you told someone would.
She live over there permanently.
At the moment, but she's doing uni and stuff over there now. Like she's doing her masters.
Right. Okay. Was she doing uni here? I take it.
To begin with, but she went home when all COVID shit kicked off. So.
Of course, crazy how times can change with this COVID shit. It affects people in so many ways that you can't even imagine. Like something as simple as COVID can take away somebody for a year and a bit of your life. It's mad, isn't it? It's like, people sit here and talk about the aspect of working from home and how it's been difficult and stuff, but I couldn't imagine those seeing people for a year and a half that are so close to you. Do you know what I mean? It's just fucking crazy.
Mental.
I mean, we've compromised. Like we call pretty much every fucking day.
No, there is alternatives, but it's not the same.
Yeah, like technology is great up until a certain point. That like I've always said, like, you know, okay, I've gotten into these podcasts more because we've been doing them more, but nothing will beat when me and Jamie actually do these in person. You'll never get the feeling quite of doing these online as you do in person, sort of thing. And I can't imagine what it must be like for, you know, your partner to be on the other side of the world.
Frustrating, I'd say, is the word.
I can't imagine it'd be horrid.
Well, hopefully you can get something booked over there soon, which would be nice.
That would be nice.
Wishing the best for both of you. But if there's anything else that we're going to bring up, or shall we get on to the game?
The dreaded game.
It's an interesting one, that.
Dreaded game. Now, I will say, Jamie, before we start this, Euan was watching down the park as other people partook in this game. So although he didn't take part...
So wait, did he play it down in the park?
He did not play it, but he watched. So, you know, he's got a bit of Intel experience at the moment.
That's shocking, Liam, that you would promote Hot Seat anywhere other than the Sitting and Chatting podcast.
I did make sure to shout out to the park to make sure everyone knew, you know, about Sitting and Chatting. But
yeah, we've still not got a fucking sponsor off them.
I know, it's quite disgraceful, to be honest. But, Euan, as I was saying to you down the park, you done pretty well last time. You got a 1-7 with 7 correct, okay?
107.
107 with 7 correct, yep. So, you know, pretty reasonable time. You know, just slightly shy of the 1 minute mark. We'll get Jamie to explain the game in a second because that is his job. But before that...
Are you sure you don't it?
No, we've seen what happens when I do it. But is there anyone that you'd like to be on the boards? Now, people that you know that are above there, you've got Jamie on a 1:04, if you're aiming to beat a previous score. You've not me, obviously, shock. Ben Francis on a 1:02, who you also know. Connor and Alba, who you met today, are on 38.6 and 41.4 respectively.
Fucking hell, that's quick.
Very quick. And Euan Mackenzie on 27.7.
Right, I'm beating Euan.
You're beating Euan.
I'm beating Euan.
Actually, here's the issue, Euan. I believe fully in you, but you're not beating Euan. Nobody's ever beaten Euan. That time is ridiculous.
We're saying that and it will happen one day. I am looking forward to that day happening. But
that'll be the day I bust a wanker, I'm telling you.
to
be prepared.
To put it into comparison, right, Euan, I've never seen someone beat that time even without the cameras and pressure being on them. Like, I've never seen another human get like even close to that. Like, Alba's time stood for about 2 years, and I've seen no one get close to that. And then Euan comes and takes.
You just sat at his cockney table, like Cam has fucking done it.
The worst part as well, his previous time was 1:19, right, and then he's gone to 27.7 seconds. He nearly took a full minute off his time.
But nerves, you know.
Either way.
But Liam's going to explain the game for us.
No, I'm not. Jamie, you explain it.
Oh, fuck off. Right, well, Euan, as you know, but I will explain it again, is you're going to get a letter off of Liam. Now, with that letter, you can re-roll it once, right? And once you've secured a letter that you're happy with, and or if you've re-rolled that you're stuck with, with that letter you then will be read out categories from Liam, and the idea behind it is during those categories, say it's toiletries and your letter was tea, you could then say toilet. And the idea is to get 10 right as quick as you can. Now if you struggle you can't pass it, it will add time onto your final time. Adds 5 seconds on every time you pass it, and if Liam thinks you're taking a piss, he'll skip it, which adds time on. And if you say the same answer like 3 times, you can also pass it. Aye, all
sounds
well
good.
And of course, if you get 5 wrong, you get 1 more reroll. But then if you fail that as well, you get the dreaded DNF, which we still never had someone achieve.
So
first time for everything.
So I either could be morbidly depressed if you get a DNF, or I could be busting at a wank if you beat 27 seconds. So this day could be exciting for me.
Right. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Give it to me.
Your letter is M. Would you like to stick with M or re-roll?
I'll go with M. M sounds like a good letter.
Okay. Before we start as well, I will give this parenthesis. If your time is slower than your original time, we will just leave your original time on the board, okay?
Thank fuck for that. All right.
Maybe.
Right. Well, no, we've done it for everyone else. So, you know. Euan, in 3, 2, 1. Things you shouldn't do in public.
Masturbate.
Cosmetics or toiletries?
Bugger. Skip. I don't know.
Types of weather?
What's the type of weather? Skip. Fucking hell.
Celebrities?
Mark Wahlberg.
School subjects?
Maths.
Bad habits?
Masturbate. It's a bad habit.
Things to do at a party?
Mock someone.
A girl's name?
Monica.
School subjects?
Another one.
You could say the same thing.
All right, mathematics.
Sports equipment?
Not fucking Scooby.
This has been a shocker.
Skip.
That's it.
I have no idea.
That
What the
is
fuck's
it.
a sports equipment?
That is it.
Nah, right,
You-
hold on, right. Let's just reroll the categories real quick, right?
Okay.
So the second one. So you got the first one, right?
I love when Jamie does this at the end of
No,
every single
no,
one.
but
He
hold on.
always- He always does
Hold
like
on.
a VAR check on the game.
No, but hold on. Cosmetics, moisturizer. That was it. Popped in
When
my
do I
mind
ever
as soon
use
as you-
moisturizer?
Weather, moist.
There's moist, or
Moist.
misty.
Is moist a
Misty.
weather?
Moist, misty, yeah, I'd
Mist.
accept
All right,
all
mist.
those.
Mist. Fair enough.
I'd accept moist if you said that.
And then there was another one. What was it halfway through? I can't even remember. And it was just. It
Things to do
was,
at a party, make out with someone.
aye. There was just loads.
Like,
But
Yeah,
no,
I was,
it's
see,
like-
when you say
but-
things to do at a party, I was thinking like dancing or fucking singing or some shit like that.
right.
hit us with the time here because we've got to be ultimatum having it happen here.
Well, I was going to say I'll leave this in your hands of you, but the time with 7 correct, so same as last time. However, this time you got a 132.3, which
Oh,
makes
no.
you 1 second faster than Lauren,
Fantastic.
but you'd be sitting about 5th last.
Yeah, and I'd be willing to grant you another opportunity at that, if and only if I get to choose your letter.
Fuck.
We can't do that. It's not how the game works.
No, I mean I'll like decide whether he reels it or not.
Okay, right.
I'm not going to just give him a letter.
I
you
know. I was
fucking
going to
prick.
say what you want me to come up with things on the spot.
So, Euan, you willing to partake?
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
Right, what's your first letter, Liam?
Euan, or Jamie, should I say? It is M again. Now
Nah.
you could
Nah,
say
nah,
Nah, you know what? No. Hold on. Have you skipped that yet?
No, I've not skipped it.
Nah, you know what? I'll nice you, Euan, right? I'll give you a massive opportunity.
This
here.
is the first time that we've ever had someone that gets the same letter for another time. You've got a really big advantage here.
Aye. I've nice you here, unbelievably. If you don't beat the 27 seconds, I'll be disappointed. No, kidding. But no, right, take the M and
Okay.
let's go for it. You've got
Okay.
this, Euan.
Euan, are you ready?
Hold on 1 second.
Are you writing down every word that you remembered from before?
No, sorry. Someone's fucking calling me. Right. Go.
Euan, 3, 2, 1. Sandwiches.
Mustard sandwich.
Occupations.
Master welder.
Hobbies.
Making stuff.
Things in the kitchen.
Fucking hell.
Euan.
Yep.
Yep.
Things that excite you.
Things that excite me. Masturbating.
Holiday locations.
Marseille.
School supplies.
Map.
Colours.
Colors. Magenta.
Clothing.
Clothing. Fucking skip. I don't. What?
Sports equipment.
This one again. Mats.
Okay. Now,
Do you accept Matt's? I think Matt's.
I have.
That was a lot harder, by the way. The subjects were harder.
I know. However, though, you did fumble the ball at a few of them, but you still done well. You came out the other side. I was impressed with maps. I have to say, I didn't think of that one. So fair play to you.
Mm-hmm.
But Euan, you can probably tell it's unfortunately not better than your original time. With 8 correct, so one better than your first attempt. You got 126.8.
What did I get last time?
107.
Yeah, 107.
Fucking hell. I feel like I was smarter back then.
It's a lag on Zoom. It's a lag.
It's a lag. If we ever get you back on again, we'll do it in person so you get a proper crack at your time, okay?
That's fucking difficult. Like, some of those subjects you just don't even think
It is.
about.
People always take the piss and say, "Oh, I could fucking easily smash that out of the park," and then they do it. They fucking fumble the ball all the time.
Well, I mean,
I genuinely believe I could smash it now. And I feel
we did say come the 100th episode we would do it again, you and me. However, I think at this point though we can't add our times onto the board anymore because it's a bit unfair at this point considering the amount of experience we've had.
But I feel like if we were to do it now, I feel like you would easily break between the 30 and 40
I'm
mark.
pissed. Yeah, I know. I would easily be in like the minute or under minute category now. But it's just that annoying thing of I had my shot, I took it, and I failed. But listen, Euan, thanks for coming on again. I really appreciate the chat.
Thank you for having me.
Short notice. It's been good.
Yep.
Euan, I'll let you into a wee insight. Right? I've had 2 guests lined up for the past two times. Both guests have done the join on me at the last hurdle, if you will. So it's greatly appreciate that. Oh, tell me about it, mate. Needless to say, both of these people aren't in my life, and I'm kidding.
It's shocking. I mean, never not wanting to appear on the Sutton Champ podcast. I mean, it's
fucking a disgrace. We'll not even go into it because it riles me up. But Euan, I appreciate you being here.
Yeah. Well,
No worries.
until next time then, I've been Liam Whyte.
I've been Thayjamieallan.
And I have been Euan Boyle.
And we'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
We talk football and current events, sitting and chatting with the very best guests. We're 2 Scottish boys and we're loving it. So if you like witty banter, check the former #1 podcast on iTunes. Sitting and chatting.